And welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa and this is Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. Today we're going to be talking mostly about faith. I wanted to come online and share with you some experiences I've been having with my Prayerful Planner. I love the Prayerful Planner. I don't do a lot of planning in it, but I do a lot of journaling and scripture writing in it. And I just realized God revealed to me here very recently that there has been a shift and change in me, in my prayers, and my prayers for my marriage. I just went through my journal and I counted out the number of days since January 1st. I wrote down anything that had to do with prayer for my husband or our marriage. And I realized 13 different times since January 1st to, what is today, February 21st, so we're in 3 weeks into February. I've been praying for my marriage. I have been praying for my husband. Why is that a big deal? It's a huge deal because early in our marriage, yes, we were going to church. My husband joined the Navy. We're in different communities and stuff. And he was a believer, but he was a new believer. And we struggled and started fighting. And he didn't have the right tools or understanding of how to cope and deal with that kind of situation. And I kind of did. I had good role models in my parents growing up where he had the opposite on how to deal with conflict resolution in a relationship. So that made a lot of problems. So we've been married 23 years, probably 20 of those years, yeah, not happy. Not that we didn't love each other. We loved each other immensely, but we fought. We used words that hurt each other. Mostly me to him. He's very quiet and he just kind of shuts down on me. And that's just kind of his personality, and you know, we're learning how to deal with that. But he and I have come a long way since we first got married. Along the way, there were marriage counseling sessions, things we tried to work on our own. But it wasn't until 3 years ago, this Easter, that we started going back to church. And when we went back to church, we committed to not just going back to church, but worshiping God and listening to God and obeying God and bringing God into our life and our marriage, finally. The hardest part for me all those years was I was so angry and hurt by him. I allowed my heart to get hardened as a rock. I did not have a heart of flesh. I had a heart of stone. And that was discouraging because I used to wear my heart on my sleeve. I would love everybody. I'd be great with everybody. I would care for everybody. And I just slowly, over time, that eroded away. I became very cynical and pushed away those loves, those first loves I had with my heart and my passion, and became very bitter. Going to church in these past few years, going to Bible study every time they had Bible study at my church, meeting with the women, having mentors, many mentors, women at the church, they have really drawn me out. And I think that prepared me for this Prayerful Planner. Because up until recently, anytime I tried to begin reconciliation, as far as forgiveness, my husband and I have forgiven each other, but it's not just forgiveness. There's reconciliation that has to happen along with the forgiveness. The hurt never really goes away. Those pain, that thing that it was before, it's always going to be part of your past. But your past no longer exists, but it will always exist in your memory, and that's hard to overcome. So we're at a reconciliation stage where we're trying to rejoin and be one in our marriage before God. And so this Prayerful Planner, what it has done is given me an open door, like a crack, an open door, because my heart was already softened over the past 3 years. I went from a heart of stone to a heart of flesh. And then I went, okay, I know I need to pray for my marriage. But I still had this jaded, I don't want to pray for my marriage. I don't want him to heal because I'm still hurting, and I still want him to hurt as bad as I do, which is ridiculous, absolutely absurd, because God is the better. Christ, walking with him, is the better. Why do you want to keep punishing yourself and your husband? That was just me playing God over my husband, thinking I'm playing God over my husband, and trying to control something I had no control over in the first place. So once I wrote down the first couple, and I think in January I only had like maybe 3 or 4 prayers where I mentioned my husband. Maybe he was sick, or maybe he was traveling on business or whatever. And I would say a quick prayer. I noticed as I just went through my prayerful journal, when I went back, I saw the prayers and I read them, and they got more in depth from I'm praying for my husband because he's dealing with something, to I'm praying for my marriage, to I am surrendering in prayer my marriage. Whoa, that was huge for me. That was the light bulb where God went, guess what you're doing? The one thing you refused to do for over 20 years. Because I knew if I prayed for my marriage, there would be healing. I knew if I prayed for my marriage, it would be positive, and God would lovingly and gently work things out for us. And that was, for whatever reason, something I refused to do. For me, I do believe it was me trying to put myself above God and be in control, me being in control of the relationship dynamic, being over my husband somehow, or I have no idea. I just know in my pride and my refusal to say, God, I'm surrendering myself and my marriage, and I'm going to let you do the work. Because I allowed that. And I was true and sincere in my heart. My motives in my heart were pure. I have softened towards my husband. I got jewelry for the first time in probably 15 years. I mean, I love it. It's beautiful. It's a sweet gesture. It has Philippians 4:13, I think. I can do anything through God strengthening me. I can't, I'm not very good at memory verses, so, but I do know it's Philippians, and I believe it's chapter 4, and it's a very famous, very commonly quoted. It's for contentment. You can have everything or nothing, but you're content with whatever God has provided in that. And he strengthens you through that. So that's what the verse actually means. And I love that verse. Philippians is one of the books that I did a Bible study on, and I found peace in the middle of that study for the first time in my life, which I did probably 1.5 years or more ago. And I still vividly remember that. So I just wanted to share a quick moment of what the Prayerful Planner has done for my life. It's literally saving my marriage. I was a little bit down and depressed, thinking we have a marriage conference retreat near where I live, and we can rent a hotel for one night and then go to the conference and stuff with our church, and our sister church is here where I'm at. And I didn't think we could go. My husband was supposed to be traveling on business during those dates. And I thought, okay, well, maybe next year or next time it comes around or whatever. And then I get an email from my husband, which this was the kicker on showing me that my husband's mindset of who I thought he was in his relationship with God was definitely different than he ever had before. And that was, he said, God is answering our prayers. My schedule's been changed. I can go to the marriage conference, book the room, pay for the conference. We're doing it. And I'm like, okay. That's right after that email, right after I started doing that. And I was in my Prayerful Planner, and I was thinking and talking to God out loud, and I'm going, and he's still gone. You know, I'm going, oh, I see, Lord. I see what you're saying. I see what you're showing me. I'm being faithful and praying for my marriage and my husband in this Prayerful Planner, even though I struggled to do so for over 20 years probably, because I was angry and I was hurt and I was defensive and wanted things my way and the way that I saw the world and the way I understood the world and the logical way and all that nonsense that we as humans don't understand God's process, because our brains are too finite to understand why are we going in a zigzag pattern to get to this point, when the truth is there is no direct point A to point B, shortest straight line. God doesn't work that way. If he did, he wouldn't have stories in the Bible having people wandering in wildernesses when they just had to go one direction and in this one, right there. You know, it baffles the mind. And so I know I've been wandering in a wilderness for many years, and I know that God is leading me out of that time period of that wilderness. I may still wander in the wilderness to the day I die, but it'd be a different area because we're always fine-tuning and working on ourselves and our relationship with God, and he's always revealing new things that we're doing, not new things that we've always done, or new things that we're doing that may need a little fine-tuning through his word. But he doesn't reveal it all at once. And I love the Lord for that. I love that he gently and purposefully reveals only what we need in a specific point in time to allow us to grow with him and come closer to him, and then move forward to the next step, to the next thing he wants us to know. Because every step that we accomplish, and whether it's a sin problem, whether it's a attitude problem, or anger, or whatever you want to call that thing that you're wandering in a wilderness about. And for me, for the past many years, my thing was my dysfunction in my marriage, my anger and hurt, and spewing it out on my husband in my marriage. That thing, that wilderness, I feel it behind me more than me wandering in the middle of it. But I know there's going to be something down the road. I know there's a next wilderness. And I think we'll have pockets of wilderness that we'll be going through. But he's going to use the previous wilderness that we went through, like my marriage and my marriage issues, to help others go, wow. Whether it's in a conversation, whether we speak to a crowd or just one-on-one with somebody, and they're going to go, hey, they went through a lot more than we ever did. What are we griping about? Or, just a word of encouragement. Okay, they can make it through this. Surely I can do this too. So those are what we're hoping and praying. I'm hoping and praying for, and my husband's hoping and praying for. But yeah, I'm flabbergasted that I prayed 13 times for my husband since January 1st to February 21st. And I'm highly encouraged. And I went from just praying for his well-being to praying for our marriage to praying and surrendering my marriage to God, and then having this opportunity to do a marriage retreat conference thing over a weekend, and having my parents be available to come up and be with my sons while we're there, and things like that. It's just beautiful, and God is so beautiful. If you are new to my channel and you've never seen a Prayerful Planner, this is what mine looks like. There we go. Hopefully you can see it okay. And a lot of times we put stickers in it. But in February, God was having me so focused that day after day, this is what my prayerful planner looked like. Just no stickers, just me, oops, sorry. Writing on my prayerful planner, writing my prayers in there, and writing, scripture writing, and then my top 3 priorities for the day. So that's what my prayerful planner has been looking like. I hope to get back into stickers, but I think the month of February is not going to have stickers because I love them, but I have other planners that I use stickers in. But I realized he was focusing me so intently. And I remember my last prayerful planner video, I was saying, I think I'm focusing too much on stickers. And I was on the right track because God was like, okay, yes, you love the stickers, but there's something you're going to be. And as soon as I really stopped and got into February, that's when I really focused on the marriage prayer. And when I focused on that, everything kind of, okay, became clear. So anyways, I'm just happy about this moment. I hope your prayerful planner is providing something like this, whether it's marriage, whether it's dating, whether it's children, whether it's parents, whether it's grandparents or jobs or whatever your situation is. Writing it down and saying those prayers and opening your heart to God in these areas that we struggle and have anger or hurt towards, I just want to encourage you to write it down in there, even if it's just a couple words. I struggle with this person, or I struggle with my job, or I struggle. And I think just writing that one little phrase down and then continuing and writing your prayers and stuff like that, you might see it show up more in your prayers and you start really fervently praying for it. I think that would be beautiful. I think that would be amazing. So I want to encourage anybody, whatever's going on in your life, put it in there, write it, and see what happens. See where God takes you. It's very unexpected sometimes, and I don't know why we don't expect it, because He promises all these things, and we should be expecting these things. So I highly encourage you to write it down and pray about it. I hope you liked this video, and if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of these videos, subscribe to my channel. I try to do once a week, twice a week. I haven't been doing that very well because I've had stuff going on around my house and a lot of people coming and going, so I haven't been able to record. But I do plan to make more videos, and I hope you have an amazing and blessed day. Thank you.